Hey everyone, this is Elias from RevMatch Media, and today we're going to be taking a look at the 2025 Volkswagen Tiguan SEL R-Line. Now, yes, this is a gray color, but don't worry, there's a lot of life to this little SUV. So let's go ahead and get started. We get started in the front, and this thing is really nice. So we do have the Sandstone Gray color, which looks like a kind of more watered down cement color, which I think it looks great. It deviates a little bit from the more basic white color that you have an option for, but I like this because it's just slightly different. It's not too attention grabbing if you don't want something like that, but I like it. It's a really good color. We do have some really nice lines here. So this hood looks really cool. I love the fact that we have kind of these lines here that look like they kind of dip in, but it's really kind of sticking out more than anything. So love the way that that looks. And then we have the lights, which are really cool. We have the IQ lights, nice little LED system. We do get inside here, we have what they call the bad weather light, which is essentially the fog light, but it is integrated into the housing and it kind of points out a little bit further from the top instead of your traditional kind of down here towards the bottom side of things. But it looks really good, illuminates. Then we have that nice big light bar at the top to connect both headlights, and it looks good. I think it's a cool lighting design that we get with the Tiguan. We have the R badge because obviously this is the R-Line. And with that being said, yes, when we get to the lower bumper, it's kind of what you're going to want to have. You're going to want to have the R-Line because I personally, and I'm not one for upselling essentially like a higher trim, but I definitely prefer the trim, the R-Line, because the front bumper and this area here just looks a little bit better than the standard non-R-Line model. And then we get to the grille, which is a nice black color. On there we have the front facing camera, which is part of the 360-degree camera system. Oh, and I almost forgot. Yeah, we have an illuminated Volkswagen badge. So it looks really cool, especially if someone is looking in the rear view mirror. They're definitely going to be able to identify that this is a Volkswagen. And down here, we do have a little bit more opening for some air. And yeah, overall though, I love the design. I love the bubbliness that we kind of get, but still kind of an aggressive look to it for the front end. So I think it's a big improvement from the previous generation. And obviously, like I said, with the R-Line, it's definitely the way you want to go. So let's go ahead and see what we have under this hood. We get under the hood and we have the 2.0 liter turbocharged inline 4-cylinder engine, and it is cranking out 201 horsepower and 221 pound-feet of torque. It is connected to the 8-speed auto, and then this is the 4Motion, which is Volkswagen's all-wheel drive system. Well, to start, this needs more power, plain and simple. It just doesn't match up well with the ratios that we have with that 8-speed transmission. It feels, it's either the gears are long, there's not enough power, or the 4Motion is just robbing of the power that we would get, or all three. It really is. It feels extremely slow, and it's okay for stop and go traffic, but when we're on the highway, especially in Texas, when we have 70, 75 mile an hour speeds, passing is a little tough with this. It does kind of struggle to really get those gears changed, essentially going to the next gear, because they just, like I said, feel really long, or this is underpowered, which is kind of confusing because my wife's Trailblazer, her Chevy Trailblazer, it has 153 horsepower if I'm not mistaken. That feels faster than this. And yes, that is a CVT. So yes, it's optimizing for that little 3-cylinder turbo. Yeah. And I think, yeah, something needs to be done with this. And Volkswagen, give us, 50 horsepower more on the 4Motion versions, because again, we're now delivering more power to more wheels, or yeah, we're delivering power to more wheels as opposed to if we just had the front wheel drive variant, which might actually be fine with the front wheel drive variant, but this is the 4Motion, and it definitely needs that extra 50 horsepower, I think, which would be good, especially when we're competing with the likes of like the Mazda CX-50 and, you know, those kind of turbocharged options that have a good amount of power to them, which I believe it's about 250. So yeah, that would kind of put it in line with this, like I said, which I think we need to have that. Front wheel drive variant, yeah, leave it at 200. Let's give it let's give it less power, because if you want more, you gotta pay more. So I think it's a viable option. I think it's something that can be done, especially when we have, you know, tuners that are out here and are able to get higher power out of these things. But yeah, I think that's the only thing, because drive modes had no issues. You know, throttle response wasn't bad, but again, it's linear, but in a very slow linear way. Yeah. Well, let's go ahead and take a look at those wheels and tires. We get down to the wheel and tire package, and we have the nice 20-inch alloy, and it is wrapped in the 255/40 Pirelli Scorpion Zero all-season tire. Couple of things with this. I like the size, so it's a good size that we get. It's a nice design as well. It has a big, strong presence to it. I like the fact that we do have the machined components on the outer part of it, and we have the black painted insert to the wheel. Then we have the tires. Tires have been great, super quiet, really high performance. You can really push this guy, and the tires are going to want more, and more, and they're going to be able to offer you more and more. So I love this tire setup. Even though we have, again, a small sidewall, we were able to absorb a lot of the road with no problem. Same thing with the suspension, does a great job. The brakes have felt awesome. Love the pedal feel to it. No complaints about that. It's just really a good package. It's really nothing bad about it. So let's go ahead and take a look at what we have on the side. We get to the side, and yeah, I love this color. It's a really subtle but classy kind of look to it, and it still stands out though. It definitely stands out more than you would get with a standard kind of white color. And then the other thing I really like about it is the fact that we have the black covers here over the fenders, which just accentuate the gray color so much more. So love the fact that we get that, and the 20-inch wheels look really good. I think they're the perfect size for the Tiguan. And then we take a look at the hood, and one thing I noticed, the hood's kind of on the lower side of things. Typically we get kind of bigger, bulkier hoods, but no, with this, it's a very flat hood that we get here. We do see a little bit of that front bumper with, like I said, the R-Line. That just gives you that better, I think, corner or that better side design that we get there. Then we get to the mirrors, which have the camera system underneath. We also get the puddle light here with the Volkswagen, which I'll go ahead and show you. Really cool, really cool. Just, again, just little things like that. Down here, we do get kind of a side skirt, so to speak, on the bottom part of the door, which looks good. And then we have the framing around the windows, which are kind of a rubber bottom in black, and then we have the chrome trim at the top, and then it just kind of falls off towards the end back there. And at the top we have the kind of polished aluminum roof rails in case you're needing additional storage for toys up there. But yeah, it looks really good. I like the design. Oh yeah, and let me not forget the little R badge, which I think it looks good. It's classy, but it still kind of has a racer kind of vibe to it. Yeah, even though that engine doesn't really give that vibe, but I like the design we get with that little R badge. Now, I do have my key in my pocket, so I'll go ahead and grab, and it unlocks, and I can go ahead and open up. Now, I like this because it is a fairly low SUV to get into, so you're not really struggling. Easy entry, big doors as well. So we can go ahead and close that off, and then we can go ahead and lock. And now let's go ahead and take a look at the back. And yeah, we have no sensor in the back, so you are gonna have to unlock there and then open up. Again, very easy to get into, lower point of entry as well for dogs as well as kids. But yeah, that's kind of what we get with the side profile. So let's go ahead and see what we have in the back. We get to the back and there's a lot of great design back here in the Tiguan. So we'll start out with the top. We get a nice little spoiler. We do get a more of a mundane third brake light up here. And I say that because we get to something way better down here. Then we have the rear glass, easy visibility, no issues with that. We have the rear wiper as well there to help out. And then we get to this. Yes, the IQ light back here that we have just looks spectacular. We have some nice textures inside. We do get the black housing, which I'm always a big fan of. We get this frosted red on the elements of the brake light. And then we have also this rear LED bar that goes all the way to connect from one side to the other. Looks good. We have our turn signal areas down here, which have a nice texture to them as well. And of course, we have the awesome lit up rear Volkswagen badge. So love this taillight system. It just looks really, really good. Then we get the Tiguan badge there, the SEL and the 4Motion badge as well. And down here we do get a black kind of textured of like that grill that we had in the front. So looks good. We don't get an exhaust tip. And honestly, I'm kind of okay with it. Because I think it looks nice and clean without having an exhaust tip. Yes, I know, me that loves, more performance stuff. I think it would probably take away attention from the other awesome elements that we have in this rear. So let's go ahead and take a look at what we have in here. We go ahead and open up by pressing down there. And to my surprise, there is a lot of space back here. One thing that I really like is that even though we have a, all-wheel drive system, this actually sits really low, which allows us to have a really tall back to the seat and have a lot of space going up. Yeah, so love the fact that we have that. And yeah, we also have little cubbies here. So we have some space on the side. We have some space on the right-hand side there. And we have a tiny little spot here, which is good for like little knickknacks that you want to have separate there. Now we do have the option to put down the seats. So we can see here, it's just a matter of doing that. And that guy falls down. We also have these hooks, which are good for bags. So if you don't want things to be rolling around, yeah, you can go ahead and just put the bag here, hook it on there, and yeah, you're good to go. So love that. And then it gets even better. But wait, there's more. So you do this, and yeah, there we go. We have, first of all, the subwoofer is back here for the sound system, but we also have a spare tire. Yes, it's been a while since we've, thankfully we're starting to see these. Yeah, that is the brand of spare tire that we get. I don't know if this has been replaced or if this is factory. It's most likely factory, but yeah, that's the brand. But we also have our jacks, our tools, our wheel lock there, and we have still a little bit of space, and you can still kind of put stuff in here if you want to just, before you fill up the top. So yeah, I'm loving that. You could probably even fit a full size in here. I wouldn't be surprised if that fits. So yeah, good on you, Volkswagen, for giving us a spare. And yeah, you can see nice little thing there. And right there, it just sits there. Love it. Love what we get in the back here for this Tiguan. We take a look at the door, and there's some really nice things about this. So first, at the top, we do get some nice softer materials up here. We do have the stitching. It's not the best to lay your arm on because it's not that kind of deep. It's kind of shallow. So yeah, granted, I didn't really need to put it up there because the actual armrest was pretty comfortable. We do have this little area here. It is for mood lighting, so it's kind of hard to see, but there are some little things. I'll probably catch a night shot of this, so I'll show you guys that. And then we have our locks for the door. And then one of my favorite things about this is, yeah, the door opener, and it's in this gray color. Now, it's probably the same shade as the car itself, but because of the materials, it might have shown a little bit darker. Either way though, I was kind of thinking it'd be cool if the door handles were essentially the color of the car. So if you have a red car, red door handle, that might be kind of cool to see. Either way though, I like the color, I like the shade. Yes, I know more millennial gray stuff, but it looks really good. It's a nice finish to it, and a little bit different than just your polished looks or just black, so like that. And then we get the other material here, which is nice. It's a good color. I like it. It's also a darker gray that we get there, and the white stitching is a nice touch to it. Nice clean design. Love it. We come down here and we have kind of like this, like, looks like a speaker grill throughout. Not everything is a speaker. We do have the little tweeter that's just about that dimension there, but I like the cool look to it. I like the texture that it has with it. And then the door handle, as well as the controls for the mirrors and the windows there. A little bit of a darker gray here with the white stitching. Then we get the trunk opener there. Area for the speaker. So we have the Harman Kardon system, which sounds incredible in this. So love the way that it sounds there. And then we have some space here for a water bottle and for more space right in there. So yeah, love the fact that we have a good amount and a good functioning and a great looking door. Yeah, so love the way that that looks. We come over to the seats and these things look really nice and they perform so well. I love the look to it. I love the two-tone that we get. We have the option to save 3 settings there. We have our adjustabilities here, and let me tell you, finding the sweet spot is very easy with this. And yes, we do have a massage option with this. Yeah, I mean, it's got everything. It also has the heated option, has the venting option, and it also has the distribution of that. So if your back is hot and you don't need it to go on the bottom, you can tell it, you know what, go ahead and cool the top, or heat only the top, or heat only the bottom. So yeah, love the fact that we have that functionality in the infotainment for that flexibility. Speaking about flexibility, yeah, the shoulder area, it's really broad. I like it because it's wide, and you know, I have more broad shoulders, and sometimes these seats can really kind of give you pressure points here on your back. Not with these. And yeah, they're taco lover, barbecue lover friendly as well. Nice width on the base. It's just really, really good. Everything is just spectacular with these. We take a look at the steering wheel, and I think this won the award for my favorite steering wheel. And it's not because of buttons or functionality, it's because of the shape. Yeah, so let's talk about it. So as far as the shape, as far as the finishes, so to speak, actually, we do have the dimpled material here, and then the softer material on top, dimpled and then softer down here. So love the feel to it. The dimpling really helps to make sure you have a nice grip to the wheel. But what really helps out, so again, this is kind of, you can't really see it much in the camera, but this is kind of a flat U shape. Yeah, so love this because it feels great there, but the kicker is this. So I don't know if you can see it, but there's kind of a little bump here. It's kind of like horns, little devil horns that are just kind of sticking out a little bit. And that is amazing because of where my hand sits on there. It's like just the tiniest of extra support that you get there, and on the other side as well. You can probably see it a little bit better there, but it's just, it's a game changer. Such a stupid little thing. You're gonna think, oh, that's stupid. No, but it really makes a world of a difference, especially when I go to rotate the wheel, and I can essentially have a better grabbing point there to further turn, or when it's kind of, you know, coming back at me, I can have a point to kind of hold on a longer, you know, typically left-hand turn. So, oh yeah, I get it. We're recording here. But that is the incredible thing about this. It's really been awesome to feel and drive. I kind of almost want this for my own Miata. So love the design that we get with this. And Let's take a look at the buttons though. We do have the cruise control system on the left hand side with our volume controls at the bottom, which looks really good there. And on the right hand side, we have our controls for the gauge cluster and for the next track on there as well. And then we have the Volkswagen badge, which looks really good in the middle there. It's got that black chrome finish to it, so really nice. But overall though, yeah, this thing has been incredible and I love it and I want it for my own vehicles. Before we take a look at the gauge cluster though, look at this trim. That wood trim that just kind of follows across is really, really nice. I love the feel to it. It's such a subtle touch to give you more life, to give you a kind of a zen feeling to the Tiguan. So yeah, it's such a small little thing, but it really does add to kind of the experience of it. But when we get to the gauge cluster, we do have this digital display, which is nice and bright, nice and sharp. Love the look to it. And yeah, we basically have 3 panels. We have the left side that on the steering wheel, when you press it, you are able to change the different options that you get there. So there's a good amount of options available for you to choose from. So we'll go ahead and just kind of keep it at the average economy. Yeah, I know it hasn't been the best. That's because I've been kind of wanting this thing to, or need for this thing to go. So yeah, I've been flooring it a little bit, or needing to floor it. And then in the middle, you can see that we have the gear selection of what we're in. And if we go to something like sport, it'll switch over to the sport shifting. But yeah, that's kind of what you get in the middle. And then on the right hand side, we do have the option for more things to essentially put on there. So loving it. Very simple, very straight to the point. Yeah, it really gets the job done. Yeah, you can see how hot it is in here with the 95 at the top. And then again, obviously we do have our drive modes, little preview of what the drive mode is on the bottom right there. So we have our own custom, we have the sport, comfort, and eco. Usually I've kept it at eco to try to get the most out of those MPGs. But yeah, that's what we get with the gauge cluster. And then we do have the heads up display. Now I know it doesn't look that clear on here, but it never will on a camera. But I can tell you this has been one of the clearest that I have seen, and it's super bright, super sharp. What I love about this as well is it has a snow mode. So that white speedometer part, the 0 that we're seeing there, actually turns a blue color, because obviously if you're in snow, white against white is not going to show. So it makes it a nice blue color that will definitely stand out in snow. Love that small little detail. I think that's probably the first one that I've seen that really does that. And I'm a heads up display connoisseur, so to speak, but love the fact that we have that with the Volkswagen. We come over to the infotainment screen, and this thing is massive. So yeah, just be aware we do have a really big screen on here. Some of the stuff, it's easy once you understand how to kind of use it. So at first, take some time, sit in the car and kind of go through the things that this has to offer. But we do have wireless Apple CarPlay. Sounds great through these Harman Kardon speakers. A lot of flexibility with adjustability with the EQ, things like that. So love the fact that we get that. But just kind of looking at some of the things in here, we can see, oh yeah, ambient lighting, we can change that, like I said, with that. And we have these kind of moods. So we have, yeah, Volkswagen has this like mood feel to it, so you can kind of choose what you want to basically reflect your mood. And yeah, like I said, we have all these options. We can set this to off-road. Yeah, we can see things like that. It's, you know, we can see the obviously the off-road display for that, and we can switch it over to kind of show you the different things with that. So we have different essentially gauges that we can always have available. So yeah, it's really cool. What I do want to show you is, yeah, the seats. So we have this, which, like I said, if we want to essentially go to this, if I remember, again, that's kind of the thing of like, oh, where is it again? Oh yeah, settings. seat climate control. Yeah, this is what I mentioned, where you can tell it, you know what, go ahead and cool just top or just the bottom, or give it to me equally there. We have the massage options here as well. But like I said, once you kind of see all the different things that you have, you'll start to learn where some of the majority of the items are. Yeah, we go to sound, and we can see all the different options that we have with that. We can even do our own EQing, which, you know, it's a good system when I haven't messed with the EQ or the equalizer for, you know, boosting certain frequencies. So it does do a good job of giving you a nice feel and nice sound to this. Yeah, but again, some of the stuff isn't fairly clear, but you definitely will get used to it to get to where you need to go or use what you need to use. Now, we also take a look at the camera system, where you can go ahead and there, and obviously it's paired up with the parking system. But when you do the camera, you're gonna have all these different options for the different views that you get with that. And yeah, let me go ahead and put it in reverse so we can see the back. And yeah, it's essentially what we get with this. And yeah, we can go ahead and switch it over to make it there. And obviously this is important to make sure that I'm not on the grass. And yeah, actually parked a little off here. So let's see, we press there, and essentially those are, and making sure that we're not on the street as well. But yeah, very simple, but very straight to the point. Very easy to kind of get to there as well. We come down here and we take a look at the climate system. So we go ahead and press there, and it's going to give us all the climate options. We do have an air filtration system, so air care is on, which is nice to have. Yeah, pretty premium, I would say. So yeah, we have this also, quick cooling. Yeah. There's a lot to it, like I said, but very easy to kind of get to with this. And then here we have, again, the options for the seats, whether we want it to cool or we want it to heat up. And then obviously we have our button to go back to the home screen. And then down here, it's a little difficult because it's piano black finishes. Let me see. Yeah. And then there's another way that you can just kind of slide left and right to get the temperature, and then obviously the volume for whatever is playing there, and then the passenger side climate system there. But that's what we get. Again, there's a lot, like I said, there's a lot, and yes, you're gonna have to spend some time, but once you get it, it'll definitely be easy. We come down here and we have our cup holders. So we have our area here where we can put our bottle, and it's actually grabbing it pretty tight down there, which is good, especially with these, you know, more typical water bottles. A lot of times they don't give you that tightness of a feel, and they're just really super loose, but not with this. So it's definitely grabbing. And this is actually like a two-tiered system, so this is a little bit taller, but we do have a lot of clearance on basically every side to, you know, if you decide to go with a bigger cup. And then here on the right hand side, I'm assuming that's for a phone area, because that's kind of what I would probably use mine for. And honestly, it works well if you're going with the wired system to charge. So yeah, not bad. Like the way that we have that there. And then we come back a little bit, and this has been what I've been fumbling all the time, is the engine start stop option with this, because we do have the button down here, even though I've been kind of looking for it, you know, in your typical spot where your keyhole would essentially be. But yeah, it's going to be down here. The other thing is this. Yeah. I didn't even touch it, and it recognized my finger, and you're able to have the volume. So this works as a volume knob, even though you have the option on the steering wheel and on the infotainment screen as well. But if you push it down, it switches over to the eco. So we have the eco mode, or the drive modes here, so we can switch between that. The other thing, now you see where it says atmospheres? If I swipe over, it goes to the atmosphere. And again, this is the vibe. This is the vibe. What vibe are you in? Do you kind of have a loungy vibe going for it, or are you joyful? Are you, do you want to kind of be with nature? And you can see it's kind of changing everything. Of course, I'm a sucker for red, so I definitely have it in red, but obviously you have that option to just kind of go minimal or just a me setting, or you have the inactive, just give me basic kind of feel to that. But like I said, I have mine in energetic, and you can see here again, I can swipe over if I wanted to, well, push down if I wanted to go to the drive modes and use that. When I'm done, just push it down and it switches back to our volume knob. And then on the right hand side, we have the parking brake, which is, yeah, very simple, very easy to obviously just normally activate there. We come back a little bit and there's a couple of things. So yeah, this is all the way back, and we have our little storage area. Now, it looks like it's a little bit, but there's actually significant more space back here. And that's when we open this up and we have a little area there. But if we take that off, we can go ahead and store more items back there, and we could do this. Yeah, so it moves forward. So this has been super comfortable having it all the way forward. No issues, no complaints. Love the feel to it. Except, actually, there is a complaint. If you kind of push a little bit too much at the right angle, you accidentally will move this back. So just kind of be aware of that. But other than that, it's at a specific angle. I can't get it now because I'm trying. But when I haven't been trying, it's definitely moved back a little bit. But we have that as storage. Now, this, you're wondering, what is this? This is our wireless charger. So I cannot do my typical chuck test. Yes, I know, Miata. I can't do my typical chuck test of literally chucking my phone into the wireless charger, because you just have to put it there and it is going to start charging. So this has been great. This has been super easy to have. I love it that I have it there so that it can go ahead and be out of the way, and I don't lose a lot of storage for other things. I don't have like a super big mat that I have to kind of worry about. So it's been nice to just have that functionality right in there. So yeah, good on you, Volkswagen. I love the fact that we have that there, but yeah, that's kind of what we get in the front. We get to the back door and we have a continuation of that awesome front door. We do get a little bit more depth to the top part. We do have a little bit of a tougher material, so it's not as soft in the front as in the front, but yeah, it's good though. It definitely wins the better award as far as like putting your armrest up here or using it as an armrest. We have the area here, which looks really good, that nice black piano texture on there. Again, my favorite, the door opener there in the color. We have the Harman Kardon system that looks really good. I love the fact that we have this in the tweeter and we didn't kind of cheap out in the back like some brands do. Unfortunately, the rear doesn't always get the prettier speaker look to it. We have our window control right in there, and then we have our area for our water bottle and some storage area there with the speaker down there. Now, we take a look at the back seats, and we do have this little storage, which I'd say it's probably like an umbrella, which would be great for an umbrella because it's not going to trap water super deep in here, and it's really easy to clean. So that's probably its functionality. If not, that would be a great use of that space. And then we have the rear seats, which are incredible. They look really good. They feel really nice. Same kind of finish as we get in the front, so loving that. And then we get our hidden cup holders, like my kid likes to say. And yeah, we have two, and then in the middle for something small, maybe a small little I'm thinking like those yogurt drinks, yeah, that are super tiny, so not sure what you'd put in there, but yeah, we get those cup holders there. And then here we have our climate system, and we have heated seats on the outside as well as the USB-C connections there. Kiddo seat was super easy to put in, his booster seat, literally, and this has been probably one of my favorites. Just push up there and you're able to latch on there, and then when you're done, you do that. So you don't lose these things, because yeah, I always have to put them away for these press cars to make sure they don't get lost, because yeah, these are super easy to lose. But yeah, that's what we get in the back, and it's really nice. We take the Tiguan for a drive, and it's nice. it's a nice ride. That was one thing, because even with those big wheels, we don't really feel much of the road in the negative sense. We still have some feel to it, some responsiveness coming back to the steering wheel as well, but it feels really good. It feels really nice to drive. It's pretty spacious as a driver, so you know, the space that I have, I'm sitting comfortably, extremely comfortable in these seats, which it's good. I kind of like this. I really actually like this. So, and the visibility is nice. You know, my tech is big. My tech is big, easy to get to. Yeah, it's a little confusing at first. You have to kind of get in there and take some time and get used to it and know where things are. My gauge cluster is nice and clear. My heads-up display, geez, this thing is like crystal clear. It's just, everything works really well. And this steering wheel is a dream, because yeah, we have those, like I said, those kind of horns, I guess, yeah, those kind of horns that we have on the side. But yeah, this thing is amazing and really nice to drive. The only thing is, yeah, it feels a little underpowered, and with those ratios with the in the transmission, it's not helping that 2.0 turbo. I feel like it definitely is needing a bump in power. Maybe I'd say about 50 horsepower more. Yeah, it's that much that I feel like this could benefit from it. But other than that, it's super calm, super quiet as well. Very little road noise, and the finishes. Yeah, I mean, we have that precision, you know, German engineering, German finish to this vehicle. Now we're gonna get to my favorite part of my drive, so I'm gonna go ahead and push the volume knob. Yeah, I know, the volume knob, to go ahead and switch it over to sport mode, and then just push it back in to activate it, and let's go. So yeah, like I said, those 8 gears are, you know, feel a little bit on the long side, and it's mainly because of the power from that 2.0 engine, where they do feel a little bit on the longer side, and then it just kind of falls flat when it goes to the next gear. And partially is because, again, it feels like it goes out of boost. But as far as getting this thing rotated, yeah, that forward motion feels really good in this, because it definitely gets the power down, albeit there's not much power to get down, but it works really well. And this steering wheel is just so perfect, because the bottom of my palms are on those little horns, to go ahead and, you know, put some more, you know, rotation, or I feel a better sense of a grip to the wheel. And obviously it's translating what the tires are doing, which is good. You want that. You want to be able to feel what the tires are doing, to make sure that you are braking enough, turning enough, or turning a little bit less if you're understeering. But it feels really good, and the brakes feel excellent as well. You can definitely get this guy stopped, and yeah, it feels really natural with the pedal feel to it. So yeah, really no complaints to the way that this feels with that. Again, I would definitely like a little bit more power and some the ability to be able to shift manually. So let's go ahead and see how we do with the 3-point stop. So I'll go ahead and yeah, we're already getting warnings of that, and let's see if we can get this guy. Okay, yeah, we hear that. And that's the thing about this. The turning radius is really good. I've been able to get this little guy parked in so many different places with no issues. So yeah, I think it's doing great. We've gone ahead and we've set up our race box. It's our telemetry box for 0 to 30, 0 to 60, drag timer and lap timer all in one. I love it. Small little compact device, but very powerful, and a great company to work with. So I'll go ahead and put my link in the description for it, and for a little possible discount. Now we're still in sport mode, so I will go ahead and brake boost it, because it did like the brake boost, and let's see what we get. Okay. Yeah, so I did give myself a significant amount of space because I definitely need it for this. So let's talk numbers. We're looking at 0 to 30 in 3.43 seconds and 0 to 60 in 9.15 seconds. Yeah, that felt like that. It really did. That's, I think, the big problem with this. And I'm not saying, you know, oh, we have to have 500 horsepower. It's just when I've been driving other vehicles that have that much, and it's in the same, well, maybe a little bit more expensive than this, but it's kind of in the same class, it's hard to just look past it. It really is. And I think, like I said, if you just give me about 50 more horsepower, I think I'd be happy with that, to really complement the gears. I think that's what it needs to complement the gear ratio and the chassis and, you know, the 4Motion system. Because again, if you're gonna give me like a 4Motion performance model of it, then yeah, make it that and deliver the power for it. Now the engine sounds cool. I do hear the turbo spooling up. I do hear the pressure being released as well. So I do hear all those goodies, which is nice. You guys probably can't hear it because it's not super loud, but it's definitely there. So let me go ahead and switch it back though to Eco. And again, this is where it does excel though. If you're just wanting something pretty decent, as far as, you know, actually better than decent. I'm being a little too critical of it. If you want a great SUV, great finishes, great feel, that I think is one of the biggest things with this, is this does have a great feel to it. It has that Volkswagen feel that I really miss with my Mark IV Golf. So I think you guys are getting there. I think just though with a little bit more power would be definitely it. But other than that though, I think it's just a great SUV to have for road trips. You know, we do get a great, so we don't get the power, but we do get some great numbers with the fuel economy. So I'll definitely let it slide for that. Well guys, I hope you've enjoyed my review of the 2025 Volkswagen Tiguan. And remember, find the right gear. See ya.